Hello, I am Purple Rain, coach of the Baltimore Buzzwoles in the VBL-S Pokemon Draft League, a VGC draft league, and I am going up against, I don't know how to pronounce the team, Shelgontbijt, uh, and that team is coached by Electric. Electric is one of the first coaches to really reach out, and one of the first coaches I had a conversation with in the league. I really respect them as a coach. They seem like they know what they're doing. They've been helpful to me. They were helpful to me during the draft. Seem like a really good person, and like a really good coach who's very innovative. Their first week one was pretty dominant. I think my matchup into them is okay, not as good as last week, but I'm excited to go over it a little bit. This time it should be hopefully a little quicker. Yeah, but anyways, jumping into the matchup, this is Electric's team. Um, a couple of notable things. Noivern is fast tailwind setter, uh, but they have Hoppip as a secondary setter. Goldengo really seems to be the centerpiece of a lot of their strategies. Very strong special attacker with obviously a great spread move and make it rain, but also enables their two Boom Burst Mon in Noivern, who I've already mentioned, and Toxtricity. Um, so yeah, they really like their spread moves on this team. Uh, Fortunately for me, I have pretty good ways of avoiding it. And then also, the team gets really bulky with Grimmsnarl. Grimmsnarl setting screens. Obviously, it also poses an offensive threat, but also notable, their only real Trick Room Mon, or Mon that says Trick Room, is Hatchram. Uh, and yeah, that seems to be covering most of what I want to talk about initially when I see the team. Although it is notable that Dugtrio traps. Uh, Anyways, I think the only Pokemon on Electric's team that always come are Goldengo and Grimmsnarl, uh, and maybe only Grimmsnarl. But I just think Goldengo is so flexible. It's got a good mix of offenses and defenses, especially behind screens. It poses a lot of problems for my team. That said, I do have a good matchup into it because I have Fluttermane, who's just faster and does a ton of damage. And so Shadow Balls can really, really wreck Goldengo depending on the set I have. And Grimmsnarl similarly can set screens and is always useful that way. But Fluttermane has a really good matchup into Grimmsnarl because it's a super fast, hard hitting, special attacking fairy type. So despite Fluttermane being an amazing matchup into both of these two, I think they both are good enough to justify bringing into my match and almost are required to come. Uh, Now, there's the chance that Grimmsnarl is offensive. Electric brought it last week, an offensive Grimmsnarl, I mean. But I think that a screens Grimmsnarl is much better into me. Uh, I just do. It's again possible they bring offensive as a mix-up. I would be surprised. I think it's probably a standard screens Grimmsnarl. That said, this is the team I've cooked up this week. Uh, I am simultaneously more proud and feel less confident in this team. I'm more proud because I think it's cooler, it's more interesting, but I'm less proud in that I think it is, or less excited or less confident because I think there's a lower chance for me to win. That's not necessarily because of the cool stuff I've done, but just because I think the matchup is a little bit tougher for me than it was last week, anyways. So let's get into the specifics, though. Fluttermane. As I mentioned before, Fluttermane is great into this matchup. It has lots of things that it can do, but I decided to go with a very bulky defensive set with Substitute, Protect, and Leftovers. Substitute and Protect and Leftovers, might seem a little weird. My mindset was that I want to be able to outlast Goldengo. Uh, I think that blowing it up is not consistent given screens, and I have no way of being able to stop screens, at least one of them, from going up. And if one of them goes up, because my team is so specially offensive, it's basically just as bad as two going up. Not as bad, but almost as bad. So I decided that my best course of action would be an extremely defensive Flutter Mane. This sort of sticks around, is annoying, and if Goldango ever wants to make it rain, then uh, it will be it'll be losing its special attack over time, and it'll probably just be hitting a Flutter Mane sub. And if it doesn't make it rain, or if it attacks into the other Pokemon, I now have Flutter Mane behind a stub, who still does really good damage and should be moving first. So I like the Flutter Mane set. Uh, I think it's obviously weird, but if there is a weak for a defensive Flutter Mane, it's this one. I think it's a great matchup for it, um, and I wanted to try it out. Really, I was interested in using it. It's faster than Noivern, and Terra Steel is for Goldango, and also it's just a generally good defensive Terra on Flutter Mane. And I've maximized Leftovers recovery with the EVs while also giving it good defenses and making it 1 point faster than max speed Noivern. Or I think it's technically 2 points faster but that's because like it jumps at that point. This is the minimum amount of EVs you can have to outspeed Noivern. And then just a couple of points in special attack and special defense because it's more efficient than putting just one in defense. Anyways, that's my Flutter Mane set. Its game plan is probably to lead, just get behind a sub, wait out Goldango, throw out stab hits. It is my best Pokemon in the matchup. I think it's the best Pokemon in the matchup overall. It's fantastic. And hopefully it'll be extremely annoying and unexpected, at least the set I'm bringing. Hydreigon. So I went through a couple different iterations of Hydreigons for this match. I always knew I was bringing it. It's good into Goldango. It's good into Veluza. It's good into a couple of their mons. Tailwind is really nice too as a lead. So I will always be using, so I can threaten it as a lead with Tailwind. That's why I have Focus Sash. There's a lot of things that could potentially one-shot a Hydreigon. And so to always have the ability to Tailwind is really nice. Because unless 2 months at outspeed are on the field, but that's pretty unlikely. And then Dark Pulse and Draco, just really strong stab moves. Draco, I went back and forth on whether Draco or Flash Cannon. Flash Cannon hits things like Grimmsnarl really hard. I also, in a mock, had problems against Terra, Fairy, Assault Vest, Goldango. There was just no way for me to deal with it. And so that's part of why I had Flash Cannon. But I think opting for Draco Meteor is just more consistent. It hits a lot of things neutrally. Very, very hard hits. The game plan is potentially with Tailwind. If not, it's going to sit in the back. One of its jobs is to kill the Goldango, and then the rest of what it wants to do is throw out strong neutral hits. Like Draco, maybe a Dark Pulse if I need like a random flinch chance or something, but its job is to set up Tailwind, and then just throw out strong neutral hits and potentially beg for attention while getting protect reads off. Next up is Crocalor. Crocalor is obviously a lower point mon on my team, but I think this is another really good matchup for it this week. It's the EV is obvious, slack off seems required, and the EVs are just maximized special defense. Electric's team has a lot of good special defense Pokemon, or special attacking Pokemon, so a high special defense is required, I think, on Crocalor. If it wants to be this like weighted out type of Pokemon, Water is a really good defensive type because the only thing that could hit, there are only 2 Pokemon that I think would really hurt Crocalor in this matchup a lot, and that is those Pokemon are Veluza and Tauros Aqua. And so a defensive Terra type for those 2, which is Terra Water, just makes sense. And then there aren't many Pokemon that can hit it hard. Toxtricity and Rotom Heat. Good, but it's an endgame Pokemon, so if I'm Terra Watering it, I know that those 2 aren't around. Snarl, because as I mentioned before, there's a bunch of strong special attackers. Fire Spin is to trap mons when I get drops off on them. So like, ideally the situation is like Gul'dan goes out, throws out a Make It Rain. I Fire Spin it. I slack off, then I Will-O-Wisp it, or then not that I Will-O-Wisp it. Sorry, then I Snarl, and whatever's out on the field, I Willow, or the other Pokemon I Will-O-Wisp, and then I go back to slack offing, and then I just kind of like play this waiting game. Maybe with Flutter Mane next to me because it can sub protect. Maybe switching in and out the other Pokemon, whatever I'm doing. Maybe this is an extreme end game and it's a 1v2 or something, or even a 1v1, and I'm just letting the other Pokemon wear itself out. That being said, I did opt for Unaware. I also went back and forth on this quite a few times because there's there's reason to believe that Unaware could be a problem because things like Shadow Ball can give drops, special defense drops onto Crocodile. Um, if I'm not able to neutralize that with Snarl anymore. Uh, that being said, there's also Nasty Plot Goldango, there's Weakness Policy Goldango, which I could see being a thing. Uh, there's Bulk Up Grimmsnarl, there's Fillet Away Veluza. There's a bunch of different stuff that could end up being like could end up boosting on Electric's team, and so I really do want to avoid that happening, or Crocalor just being like useless in the case of that happening. So I did offer Unaware over Blaze, but that's like I think there are options there, uh, and it didn't necessarily have to be Unaware, but I do think it's a safer option, so that's why I opted for it. Game plan, its main game plan is to win end games, switch into big hits. Will-O-Wisping Grim, I think it's really important, actually, because, like I said, I can't really stop Grim from getting up a screen. But what I can do, and then if Grim gets up a screen uh, into this matchup, I don't really care what it does anymore, except for physical attacks into something like my Flutter Mane. Uh, and so if I'm able to neutralize any offensive pressure it has with Willow, then it won't be able. Then I'm no longer scared of it, and then Electric would have to take the time and to lose the momentum to switch it out, and that I'm okay with. And so basically, my goal is let Grimmsnarl get up a screen. It's gonna suck, but it is whatever. Will-O-Wisp it, and then force Electric to take the momentum loss. Uh, and then it just is also a snarl bot for everybody else, and it'll slack off when it needs to. Basically, it's just there to survive and to be a nuisance, which I think Crocalor is quite good at. Now I have AV Donphan. Donphan is interesting. It has it's AV for because there's, as I've mentioned many times already, a bunch of special attackers on my opponent's team. At least that's what I'm most scared of. There are also physical attackers, like I mentioned Grimmsnarl before, but also Veluza, Zangoose, etc. There are physical attackers to be scared of, but Donphan has a good physical defense already, and so getting its special defense up is important. Um, Rock Slide EQ to Wall Break. I just for Azu specifically because there is Toxtricity and there is Rotom Heat. Uh, my best ways of dealing with those two Pokemon are Rock Slide and EQ, and so I have Donphan for it. AV, I mentioned just for all the special attackers. And Gunk Shot's interesting. I really couldn't find a fourth move that I liked on Donphan. There's a case for Ice Spinner. There's a case for a bunch of stuff, but I ultimately decided that it should be Gunk Shot because I don't want to be left without options in case of something Terra Fairying. Like I said, it gave me a bunch of problems in Mox if I didn't have an option for it. And so Gunk Shot is like, it's an option at least. It's something I have on my team to deal with it. Yeah, so that's what it's doing. And the game plan for it mainly is just to make ways for Azu, sit on the field, be a consistent threat. I don't think Electric will want to target it down because it's bulky, B, it's not the most threatening Pokemon on my team. So it's just gonna. I hope for it, and C, it has Sturdy. So it's a consistent threat, and its main thing is really just to be a nuisance to all of the other Pokemon that want to beat Azu. Uh, Speaking of, here's Azu. Um, Play Rough is just strong stab. Aqua Jet is relatively strong priority. Brick Break is to break screens, and Electric Terra is really good on Azumarill because it helps against Electric's best Pokemon on the team, Goldengo, and also its two biggest threats, Rotom and Toxtricity. The only problem is it doesn't really help against Toxtricity that much because Toxtricity could end up going for a Poison move, not an Electric move into it. Either way, still the best Terra type in my opinion. It's got high HP and attacking stats because I want it to live long and hit hard. And then most of the rest go into special defense with a little bit in defense and speed. It's obviously huge power. Azumarill's job is just to hit things hard, survive a good amount, and clean up, and then clean up with priority because it has a pretty strong Aqua Jet. I didn't really know how to describe the game plan for Azu actually like that well. Like all of that makes sense, but the way I was able to contextualize it in my head was Azu is kind of like a bruiser, like in the way that Crocolore is a tank. Fluttermane is also kind of functioning as a tank actually in this matchup, but Azu is for sure just functioning as a bruiser. Takes some hits, deals some damage, but it's not like the best at doing either of those things. It's just really good at doing both. And so for my final Pokemon, I chose Lumineon. I went back and forth on this a ton. It was in DD for a while. Uh, I was prepping before I ended up doing the trade last week, and so it was Venonat then, although Venonat I think was bad. But Lumineon, uh, it is Tailwind for speed control, so it's a secondary Tailwind setter. Encore, because especially if I get under Tailwind, Lumineon's pretty fast, and so I can deter a lot of protects. And if my opponent does protect, then I can Encore it. The one thing I have to remember, though, I cannot Encore Goldengo. Cannot Encore Goldengo. Uh, and Ice Beam is really good. Uh, Ice Beam is really good for the matchup into opposing Tailwinds, and what I mean by that is the two Tailwind setters are Hoppip and uh, Noivern, both of which take super effective damage from Ice Beams. So I think Ice Beam's really good here. Hoppip takes 4 times damage. It doesn't quite die to to an Ice Beam, assuming it's Eviolite, but Hoppip's way more tanky than I anticipated. So it is what it is. It won't die, but it'll take some damage. And Wakan Berry is just because there's a couple of electric types on the opposing team. I don't want it to die to a random spread electric move. Yeah. And obviously max speed for max speed encores to outspeed stuff for in under tailwind and to make sure I'm faster than my team's mons, even Hydreigon, when setting up tailwind. Yep. So the game plan is it for be a tailwind threat? Oh, and it's water absorb. So or sorry, storm drain. So it is there also to protect Croc. Because, as I mentioned, the only mons Croc is really scared of are Tauros Aqua and Veluza. And so, if I see both of those, maybe I will bring Lumineon to protect Croc. And or just into lots of water, into both of those water types coming. I might just bring it without Croc because it's a good defensive option that also sets Tailwind. And so that is the game plan for Lumineon. And with that, that's all of my game plans. I'm gonna not predict leads this time, just because it was all moot last time when my opponent did not bring Gothitelle. And so I'm just gonna wait here, and then I'll come back when it's game time. Okay, I'm gonna go get myself hyped up, and I will be back in a minute. Okay, there should be music on. Uh, huh. I'm just getting set up. And now maybe team sheets. Team sheets. Team sheets. It's game 3. Okay, so now let's look at the team. Golding, no Noivern, which is a little unexpected, but not that unexpected. Hoppip is interesting. I have to be worried about Infiltrator. Because it's definitely not Chlorophyll. I guess it's probably not Lead Guard, so it's probably Infiltrator, and it could have Sleep Powder. So that's concerning. Veluza is very interesting. It did come against me in mocks. Oh, by the way, thank you to Heaven for mocking and helping me make my team, and then also thanks to Kodamrin for helping on some finishing touches for the team. Both very helpful, really good people. Really happy that they were willing to help me out. Anyways, Goldango, Grimmsnarl, Toxtricity. They do have 2 waters, so that's interesting. That being said, they don't really have a ton for a Azumarill. It's, I guess, Toxtricity. So I want Flutter Mane. I don't know how they deal with the Flutter Mane Hydreigon lead. That well, anyways. And Azumarill's good. And now the question is, do I want Crocalor, Dawnfan, or Lumineon? I think I like... It's tough. I think I might actually like a Flutter Lumineon lead, because it offers me good options like a Hoppip lead, Flutter Lumineon. Like I can Tailwind and protect. Although I don't need to Tailwind. Yeah, I do. As a Hoppip. Tailwind and Ace, or Tailwind and Moonblast or Sub or whatever. Hydreigon and Azumarill in the back, I think. Hoppip, expected. Toxtricity, interesting. This is really bad. This is a really bad lead matchup. Yeah, whew. Okay. So now what do I expect to happen? I kind of want to just protect and Tailwind, because the fastest thing on the field is Lumineon. If it goes down, it's not that big a deal. Wakanberry saves it a little bit. And that way, yeah, protect. I think I want to protect Tailwind here. I should have consideration for Ice Beam into Hoppip, but I'm not that worried about it. And if anything protects, that means I can non-core off afterwards. Yeah, protect Tailwind is fine. This lead matchup isn't actually as bad as I thought. It does offer some problems, obviously, in that I don't like to see Infiltrator Hoppip against my team. Against especially sub Flutter Mane. Let's see what happens. Rage Powder, interesting. Gunk Shot, perfect. Perfect turn 1. I'm going to Terra Steel, Moonblast into Hoppip, and I'm going to double up into the Hoppip, I think. Okay, Hoppip's down, no Tailwind up. Gunk Shot into an immune Flutter Mane. That's totally fine with me. Goldango is interesting. I think I want to Encore, actually, into the Toxtricity, and then I can either Sub or Shadow Ball. into Goldengo. I like the Shadow Ball since I think it's going to be offensive, but it could protect. Yeah, because I can't Encore it. I don't know really what it does. I do just want to deal damage though. Fluttermane's in a really good offensive position. I think sub is definitely an option here though. It might protect, but it might be specs, right? It could also Terra, in which case sub isn't bad, and Encore is not bad. Yeah, Terra, it's fine with me. Make It Rain is totally fine with me. Does it even break sub? It does not break sub, I don't think. Oh, and the Gunk Shot miss is huge. Oh my god, it does not break sub. So that is fantastic. But sorry, I need to check. Did it have White Herb? It does have White Herb. That's really interesting. I think I just want to protect Luminion so I can get another Tailwind off. And Moonblast into Goldengo. Does quite a bit. Oh, the special attack drop is nice. So, and then, yeah, this is totally fine with me. So now I can either Moonblast into Goldengo. I'm always Tailwinding, right? Yes, I'm always Tailwinding. I think I'm always Tailwinding and subbing, actually. Because it can't break sub. That's fine. And now I want to go into Hydreigon. Moonblast. And then maybe just throw out a strong Draco into this, but it might have Terra Blast, is the thing. If it has the Goldengo, I mean. So I think I'm going to protect. It's just Make It Rain, that's fine. Okay. I just Moonblast Draco into this. But that seems to indicate, right, that it probably doesn't have... So it can break sub, though. The Toxtricity can break sub. So I either Shadow Ball into the Toxtricity, or I'm actually like super fine keeping the Goldengo out on the field. I think I just want Toxtricity dead. So there we go, it's down. Shadow Ball does next to no damage. Okay. Forfeit. Kills 2. Kill. GG. 1 kill to Flutter. 1 to Hydreigon. Okay. Because I honestly I don't know if I do that, but I think I get to choose if they forfeit. So that was really good. That was really good for me. And I don't know how different I should play it this time. I still like the Flutter lead. I think I always like the Flutter lead here. There's just not a ton that can be done into it, especially knowing Make It Rain doesn't break sub with Terra Steel. That's huge. I don't know if they have a good way around, although I would expect Tauros Aqua to come out, but if they do, then I have Luminion, And also Tauros Aqua doesn't... Actually, I would expect Tauros Aqua. So maybe Azu Luminion to lead? Huh. I'm questioning whether I should change anything. Because they were really good, the Pokemon that I had. But this time I don't expect Toxtricity to go for a Gunk Shot. I would expect it to, like, whatever its discharge move is. That's why I'm kind of interested in leading Donphan. But they don't have a good way of stopping Luminion. And having Donphan in the back may be good for Toxtricity. Because if Luminion goes down, it's kind of whatever. But it has Boconberry, so it shouldn't. And then Hydreigon is the final one. It's good, I think. It is Terra Fairy Goldengo, though. That's important to know. Yeah, this is what I'll do. Grimmsnarl, expected, first lead. I would expect... Okay, so threatening a Fake Out, obviously. I could double protect. I could protect sub. I don't hate protecting and then subbing. I actually don't hate tailwinding and subbing here, because the big downside would be double hit into Flutter Mane, but I think they'll expect to protect turn 1. So I don't mind this. Oh, maybe I'm wrong. Waconberry doesn't live. It does live, so we're fine with that. Okay. The Terra Electric is interesting now. So I can Encore, but I kind of expect a double hit into Flutter Mane. No Fake Out, notably. It is a Screens Grimmsnarl. No Azu to break it, so that's interesting. I don't know if there's much more I should do, but Ice Beam this and Protect. Luminion doesn't offer a ton to me. Okay, what does Grimmsnarl do? Dazzling Gleam, this is fine. I actually kind of want to Encore it into Dazzling Gleam. Terra Steel Shadow Ball. Because the Encore into Dazzling Gleam is because it does nothing. And if it's especially good if Luminion dies. Perfect. Now I can just bring out Hydreigon. Dark Pulse, Shadow Ball into it. Into Goldengo. Oh shit. I'm really not that smart. Dazzling Gleam probably just kills Hydreigon. Probably straight up kills Hydreigon. So if I protect Shadow Ball, I should not have switched into Hydreigon. I didn't even think. I don't know what I was thinking. It was really dumb. But I can Shadow Ball into this, switch into the Donphan. I don't think there's a huge problem with that. If I Shadow Ball and switch into Donphan. Okay. Yeah. So now no longer has the Dazzling Gleam. It's Light Play Grimmsnarl. I kind of just want to Earthquake and Protect. EQ protect. Okay, tried to Thunder Wave. Oh, it has Wave Crash. That is interesting. A Dark Pulse probably won't kill behind screens. There's a chance it can flinch. And then I either Moonblast into it as well, or I Moonblast into the Grimmsnarl, hoping for like a crit or something. I think I have to take out the... Is there any chance that Dark Pulse... I mean, I need to do a calc. Oh, but I didn't set up my Flutter. Whatever. Team Builder... upload... Import, export, Control-C... Okay, Flutter into Grimmsnarl, level 50. Okay, so it's definitely not killing, because that's not even behind a screen. So I think my out is to double up into... It's to protect and Moonblast into, or maybe it's sub, protect and sub, but I'm gonna say it's to Moonblast into this. Okay, well, Thunder Wave's bad. Maybe I can Tailwind Moonblast into Grimmsnarl. Because now I'll have speed control even though it is parried. Yeah. Oh, it's physical. That's interesting. Oh, it's Sash. Oh my god, I've played this game so horribly. It's really early for me, but that's not an excuse for how poorly I played. I still Dark Pulse, Moonblast, I think. Dark Pulse into Toxtricity. Maybe I Draco. Because Draco will kill, Moonblast will kill. The only question is, does it even get a priority move? Probably not. Oh, it doesn't kill. Okay. Well, that's bad. The crit didn't matter unless I missed that the other one crit as well. Yeah, this game's over. Draco, if that killed... I guess that's Aqua Jet, so no, it would not have mattered. GG. Now... Okay, I need Azu in the lead. Because what did they lead? They lead Grimmsnarl, Platypus. So, Azu needs to be here to get this game. I still liked the Flutter lead, I think. Luminion in the back, I actually like for all the water, the Aqua Jets and stuff. And now the question is Hydreigon more valuable, or is Dawnfan more valuable? Considering Tauros has Wave Crash, I'm kind of not inclined to say Dawnfan. That being said, I am bringing Minion. I think I want Hydreigon. It's so good into Goldango, pop it, it does damage into, and like, well, Dawnfan has Ice Shard. I think because I have Luminion, I can afford to go Dawnfan. Grimmsnarl Veluza, that's interesting. So in my mocks, Veluza was Scarf. And I kind of don't want to play around with losing to a Scarf Veluza randomly. But I guess if it is Scarf, it can't Final Gambit in the same way. I'm fine, I think. I think I'm fine doubling up into Grim. Oh, full pair is so bad. Okay, well. I got a kill off, but it did cost a para on Flutter. I don't hate Terra Electricing, but I do because of how much Psycho Cut did. Terra Steel Sub is an option. Protect is an option. Switching into Dawnfan is an option here. Actually, I kind of like switching into Dawnfan. It's Life Orb. Switching into Dawnfan and protecting, I like. Switching into Luminion's also interesting because I can Tailwind up after if Azumarill doesn't die, or if Luminion doesn't die when it switches in. But I think there's a chance it does, right? Poison, Psychic, I could double up. But if it does, they're really letting Fluttermane just out here live. That doesn't seem likely. So, I think switching into Dawnfan is fine. But it's just going to die the next turn. Luminion, and then Protect. Terra Steel Shadow Ball is also fine. Terra Steel, Shadow Ball into Veluza, and switch into Dawnfan. Well, that's about as bad as a turn can go. Yep, that's about as bad as the turn could go. They did double up into the Dawnfan, but they are now down to their last two Pokemon. +1 speed is bad for me, obviously. So what do I want to switch into? Okay, well I like the... So Tailwind. So now all I need to worry about is Wild Charge from this thing. Can it Terra? Yes, nothing is Terra'd yet. And it's Terra Electric. I would expect this to Terra Electric. Oh, I think this is a pretty losing position for me. Because it also just has fighting moves. But I think I need to try to Tailwind, and I need to try to Protect. Did I Protect last turn? No. I think Tailwind Protect is right. That way, there's a chance Azu outspeeds, I think. The Platypus. Yeah, that's expected. Got the Tailwind off, Trailblaze, that's fine. I think, no, it's probably not fine, right? Yeah, because that's definitely fastest now. Fastest thing out. But I can double up into the Tauros. Although, yeah, and then it's a question of whether it can break the Toxtricity can break me. Oh, I lose. Well, that's game.
Oh, that's so rough. It's okay though. I'll come back next week. I liked the Flutter main. I liked a lot about the team. I think it was a mistake to bring Donphan, obviously. Should have brought Hydreigon. I played game 2 horribly. So yeah, GG's to Electric. They played really well this week. Did not expect the physical. Did not expect the physical toxicity. Didn't have enough answers to the Terra Electric, Tauros Aqua. Yeah, they played really well. GG's them. Thanks for watching. And if you have any advice for me, please leave it in the comments or DM me on Discord or whatever.